big brother. On my daughter, we out here for my big brother. We ain't trying to talk. Don't worry. We gonna get it crack. We gonna walk the nigga down face.
These were among the last words FYB Triga posted on his Instagram story on May 30th, 2022. Mere hours before he would be shot 3 times in the chest, side, and groin. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. The person who pulled that trigger wasn't an enemy from a rival gang. It wasn't someone seeking revenge from the streets. The person who killed FYB Triga was someone he called family. Someone wearing the same 3 letters he wore. And the reason why he died? It all came down to a habit that everyone had warned him about. A habit that would ultimately cost him his life in the most unexpected way possible. This is the tragic story of FYB Triga.
Supposed to do the red flow. Oh! What I'm supposed to do the red flow. Oh! Bro, we never like it. Y'all know that bitch in my jacket. We ain't liking that bitch in my jacket. We capping.
Hey, look, we can play like we out here. We be capping, but we love the right, nigga. We out here every day. Nigga, get up with us. Get up with us.
I'm back home. I'm back home. I'm back home. I'm back home. Twinkle me and get shut in your dome. Are we in the screen?
We crack.
Hold on. Oh, they don't run up on the TV. Let's shut up. They don't run up on the TV. Got my box top. Oh, let's shut up. That's the grandson.
But before we get to that shocking moment, you need to understand who FYB Triga really was, and why what happened that night would send fear through Chicago's drill scene that is still being felt today. FYB Triga, whose real name was Khalil Quincy Austin, was born on December 31st, 1996, in the heart of Chicago's South Side. He wasn't just another face in the crowded landscape of Chicago's drill rap scene. He was someone who lived and breathed the street life that so many rappers only performed about. While other artists were chasing mainstream success and Spotify streams, Triga was focused on something entirely different. His music career was almost an afterthought, with his 2022 album Free Smoke Volume 2 garnering fewer than 500 monthly listeners on Spotify. But that didn't matter to him. Music was never his priority, the streets were. Triga was a core member of the FYB Collective, an acronym that stood for Fuck Yo Block, founded by FYBJ Maine around 2011. They're a street organization with deep ties to Chicago's gang culture, specifically connected to Bebe Gang, also known as BBG043. The collective had loose affiliations with larger entities like O Block through family connections, but they also had plenty of enemies. Early beefs erupted after incidents like the alleged killing of O.D. Peary from O Block in 2011 by STL-EBT, which led to diss tracks and escalating violence that would define the next decade of Chicago drill. But what really set Triga apart from others in his crew wasn't his music or even his willingness to engage in street confrontations. It was something far more specific, far more reckless, and ultimately far more deadly. Triga had developed a notorious reputation for taking pipes, street slang tough stealing guns from people, often his own associates. This wasn't something he did once or twice, this was a habit. A pattern of behavior that had become so well known among his circle that people would literally warn each other about it.
Should I write them tell Shorty before Triga pull up, like, man, you know, folks take pipes, don't pull your pipe out. Now, we get there. Now, you gotta keep that in mind. They already told him, don't pull your pipe out.
FBG Butta, who identified himself as Triga's blood brother, recounted multiple stories about Triga's gun-snatching habit. In one particularly telling incident, Butta and others explicitly warned an associate not to show his 21-shot gun around Triga during an early morning gathering near 63rd Street. Despite the clear warnings, the guy pulled out his weapon anyway. Predictably, Triga immediately took it, noted that it had no safety, and then actually fired shots at the guy before walking away with the gun. The victim's only crime was ignoring advice that everyone knew was solid. But Triga didn't just take guns from homies. In a 2021 interview, he boasted extensively about robbing young Pappy and Tay Savage, claiming he took their weapons, beat them, and humiliated them in various confrontations.
There's niggas up north is bitches.
Oh, you see that?
On my daily butterfly, they bitches fuck. On my daily butterfly, cause look, all these niggas folk that be portraying that image folk, I done jumped they gate and beat them on my daily butterfly like real life, like Pappy, Tavion, on my daily brother, took they pipe, beat Tavion with a full nick on my daily brother, beat his ass with the nick, bow, bow, jump Pappy gate for like $350 in a pipe. These niggas is hoes, and they never got their get back on my daily brother.
Whether these stories were entirely true or exaggerated for street cred, they established Triga's reputation as someone who was fearless, or perhaps reckless, when it came to taking other people's firearms. FYB J. Main, who was described as Triga's brother and founder of the FYB Collective, had repeatedly cautioned Triga about this dangerous habit. J. Main warned him that constantly taking guns from people, especially people within their own circle, was putting the entire crew at jeopardy. It was breeding resentment. It was creating a situation where people felt they needed to carry backup weapons just to protect themselves from their own supposed brother. But Triga didn't listen. Or maybe he couldn't stop. Either way, the warnings went unheeded. By late May of 2022, Chicago was experiencing one of its most violent Memorial Day weekends in recent history. The weekend would ultimately see 51 shootings and 9 deaths, making it the deadliest Memorial Day weekend since 2007. Among those deaths were 2 members of FYB. The first was FYB DJ, who was killed on May 28, 2022 in Inglewood during a shootout with Derek Washington over territory. According to J. Main, he acted in self-defense, but both he and Washington died at the University of Chicago Medical Center. 2 days later, on May 30th, 2022, the crew gathered for what was supposed to be a vigil for their fallen brother DJ. The location was significant. 1306 East 93rd Street, the home of deceased FYB member Archie. This place was considered sacred ground, a safe haven where FYB members could gather without fear. It was a spot where Triga felt completely comfortable, completely protected, which is exactly why what happened next was so devastating.
Triga ain't know that he's finna get hit with them 3 shots, because where he was at, that's his safe haven. Triga can go there anytime. Motherfucker love Triga, so it hit different.
That evening, Triga posted his location on Instagram stories, showing himself and other FYB members armed and displaying gang signs. Some people later speculated that posting this location invited danger from rival gang members monitoring social media, but that theory would quickly be disproven. Because when the shooting started, it had nothing to do with outside enemies. The call was coming from inside the house. The gathering at Archie's crib included several FYB members: Monte, Thad, Benji, and an older member who hadn't been particularly active in the crew lately. Triga arrived at the location already impaired by pills and lean, substances that would significantly impact what happened next. What exactly sparked the confrontation has been the subject of intense speculation within Chicago's drill community. According to various accounts, there were rumors that the older FYB member had been snitching on crew activities. Other versions suggest the conflict arose because this member had been messaging Triga's girlfriend. But beneath these surface-level triggers lay something far deeper and far more corrosive.
Motherfucker trying to be mediator. Nah, bro. Motherfucker did. Because we all the guys, bro. You gotta understand. We've been knowing each other 10, 20 years plus. Y'all gotta understand, folk. But niggas it already be some that a motherfucker be feeling some type of way. Nah, you give a motherfucker a reason to do something, bro. You gave this man a reason. If I already know one of the guys don't like me, you probably should be on your P's and Q's with this nigga. If you feel like this is some type of animosity and you calling this nigga one of your guys. But at the end of the day, niggas don't really fuck with each other like that, and that's really what the shit really about. Niggas don't really fuck with each other how y'all be thinking motherfuckers be fucking with each other. That shit be a facade, how I'm looking at that shit for the internet or something. Yeah, niggas got the same 3 letters in front of their name, but at the same time, niggas don't be together for real, because if they was, none of that shit would just played out, bro.
The truth was that despite sharing the FYB name, many members weren't truly close. Years of underlying resentment had been building beneath a facade of brotherhood. The 3 letters FYB didn't guarantee loyalty or love. They were just letters. And in this pressure cooker environment where everyone was armed, grieving, and some were intoxicated, all it took was one wrong move to ignite an explosion. That wrong move came when Triga, following his well-established pattern, grabbed the older member's gun. But this time he didn't just take it, he pointed it directly at the man. It was a threat, a power play. Maybe Triga was upset about the snitching rumors, maybe he was angry about the girlfriend situation, maybe he was just being Triga, doing what he always did, taking pipes from people. But this time he had chosen the wrong person to target.
What Triga didn't know, what he couldn't have known in that moment, was that the older member was carrying a second hidden gun. This wasn't paranoia, this was preparation born from experience. People in the crew had learned to protect themselves, knowing Triga's reputation. They carried backups specifically for situations like this.
Triga ain't know he had that other gun on him. He had another gun on him. Up that gun, hit Triga 3 times. That's how that shit played out, bro. He upped that other gun, hit Triga 3 times.
The older member pulled out his second weapon and fired 3 times in rapid succession. The bullets struck Triga in the chest, in the side, and in the groin, all upper body shots that were clearly intended to be lethal, not merely defensive. This wasn't a warning, this wasn't someone trying to wound or scare, this was someone who had made the decision that Triga needed to die. But the violence didn't end there. What happened next turned an already tragic situation into absolute chaos. Triga, despite being mortally wounded, managed to fire back with the stolen gun. However, either because of his impairment, his wounds, or the shock of the moment, he completely missed his intended target, the man who had just shot him. Instead, his bullets found other victims, his own crew members.
Benji gets shot. FYB Benji gets shot. FYB Monte gets shot. FYB Dad gets shot. Like, what the fuck really happened, bro? Like, y'all just blacked out like that. Like, what the fuck really happened? Because now, once the first shots go off, everybody playing self-defense because it's a shot. Nah.
Monte was hit, Thad was hit, and Benji took a bullet to the chest that initially left him in critical condition. The scene at Archie's crib had descended into pandemonium. Multiple people were bleeding, guns were still drawn, and everyone who had just witnessed what happened was now claiming self-defense, trying to process the shock of what had just occurred in what was supposed to be their safe space. The question of why Triga shot his own crew members has multiple possible answers. Some accounts suggest that in his panic and pain, Triga felt like he was being set up, that the whole crew was involved in some kind of coordinated attack against him. In his mind, clouded by substances and trauma, everyone suddenly became a potential threat. He may have been shooting wildly in anger, thinking his brothers had betrayed him. Or it could have been simpler. Poor aim combined with chaos and desperation.
At this point, I'm understanding once Triga shot, he like, fuck it, shit, y'all trying to set me up in this bitch. It feel like a backdoor shit, motherfucker just shot me.
Triga's girlfriend, who was present during the shooting, immediately rushed him to the hospital. Given the location and the reports of a 25-year-old male with gunshot wounds to the chest, he was likely taken to Trinity Hospital. But the 3 shots to his upper body, particularly the ones to his chest and side, had caused massive internal damage. Despite medical intervention, Khalil Quincy Austin, known to the streets as FYB Triga, was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. He was 25 years old. Meanwhile, the other victims were being treated at various hospitals. Benji's chest wound was severe enough that his survival was initially uncertain, but he eventually recovered and was released in early June. Monte's injuries were less severe, though he reportedly faced legal issues in the aftermath, possibly related to the shooting itself or to previous activities. Thad also survived his wounds, though details about his specific injuries remain scarce. What's particularly striking about this incident is what didn't happen afterward. No arrests were made. In a shooting that left one person dead and 3 others wounded, with multiple witnesses present, law enforcement made no moves to charge anyone. This silence speaks volumes about the code of the streets, the loyalty or fear that kept everyone from cooperating with police, and the complicated nature of determining who was actually at fault in a situation where everyone claimed self-defense. In the city's gang culture, when rivals successfully kill someone, they typically boast about it on social media. Diss tracks are made, Instagram posts are created. There's a perverse pride in claiming the body. But after Triga's death, there was silence from all the usual suspects. No claims from O-Block, no taunts from rival crews, nothing. Because nobody outside of FYB was involved. This was family killing family. FYB J-Main took to YouTube to address the situation directly, trying to counter the false narratives and rumors that were spreading like wildfire through social media. His message was clear. People needed to stop creating scenarios that didn't happen, stop making up stories, and understand what really went down that night in what was supposed to be their safe space.
Alright, now I see motherfuckers on this bitch talking on bro. Y'all on this bitch just talking. Here y'all go with this just extra shit, gang. Y'all niggas don't even be knowing what they talking about. Alright, some of this story, that story, bro. Y'all not FYB, y'all don't know what's really going on with us, so all that extra shit that y'all doing on y'all pages, bro, stop that, man. Y'all creating false ass scenarios and shit, making shit up. Oh yeah, this what happened, this what, bro, that shit ain't happen like that, bro. Y'all ass tweaking, bro.
J-Main's explanation emphasized the role of Triga's gun-taking habit in creating the fatal confrontation.
He tried to take his pipe, but Triga known for trying to take pipes though. That's why I gotta do y'all homework. Triga known for taking pipes. It's all folks rap about, for all folks talk about taking pipes. Been knowing Triga for years and he always been taking pipes my whole life. But I always told him, folks, slow down, woo, but you can't tell no nigga like, yeah, woo, but it ain't like I'm trying to jinx a motherfucker, so I ain't over tell him, you know, like, yeah, don't be taking pipes, your ass gonna get killed doing that shit. You know, I never told him that shit. So as a big brother, I fought that shit on myself, like, damn, you should have told a little nigga, like, man, don't be out here taking niggas' guns all the time, bro.
But he also acknowledged something deeper and more troubling about the FYB collective itself. The unity that outsiders perceived was largely an illusion. These were people who had known each other for 10, 20 years or more, who wore the same gang affiliation, who appeared together in videos and at gatherings. But beneath the surface, many of them didn't actually like each other. Old resentments festered, personal disputes simmered. The question of whether the shooting was truly self-defense or something more premeditated became a major point of debate. From the shooter's perspective, the argument for self-defense was straightforward. Triga had taken his gun and pointed it at him, creating an immediate threat to his life. In that moment, he responded with his backup weapon to protect himself.
You gotta look at it from the shooter's standpoint. When the shooter shot, bro, if you tried to take this man's gun, bro, did he have all rights to shoot you? And then somebody else say, all right, but why you shoot him 3 times, for? If this supposed to be one of the guys, you ain't gonna hit him like that. You gonna probably hit him in his leg, like, man, you tweaking, if anything. If you shot a nigga 3 times in the upper body, you want him dead. That's what motherfuckers saying.
The fact that he fired 3 times instead of once could be explained by the need to ensure the threat was neutralized. In a life or death situation, you don't fire a warning shot and hope for the best. But perhaps the most disturbing revelation came from FYB Lil Mike, another crew member, who speculated months later that there might have been broader FYB involvement in Triga's death. Mike was responding to a diss song by an artist named Flame, who had made references to FYB being responsible for Triga's murder.
Another thing he said in a song, he said something like FYB was mad, speaking on Triga. Then he said they the ones that blanked him.
Mike acknowledged that he thought Flame might be right, though he admitted he didn't have definitive proof. He cited Triga's extensive dissing of FYB members in his music, his speaking on deceased members and previous conflicts with figures like Libro and Lil Trick as potential motives for internal betrayal. The suggestion was that perhaps this wasn't just a spontaneous confrontation over a stolen gun. Maybe it was an opportunity that people within FYB had been waiting for. Which of these narratives do you think is true? And do you think it was really because of the pipe stealing that the bro took out Triga? Let me know in the comments. The emotional toll on those closest to Triga was immense. FBG Butta, who publicly identified as Triga's blood brother, expressed profound grief on Instagram following the shooting. His stories about Triga's gun-taking habit were told with a mixture of fondness and frustration, remembering a brother who was wild but good-hearted, someone who couldn't seem to stop doing the thing that would ultimately kill him. Meanwhile, Tay Savage, one of the rivals Triga had claimed to rob and beat, responded to the news of his death with mockery, posting "Nah God took dog" on social media. It was a harsh reminder that Triga had made enemies through his confrontational style, and some of those enemies felt no sympathy for his fate. As of October 2025, no arrests have been made in connection with the shooting, and it's unlikely any ever will be. The code of silence has held, the survivors have moved on with their lives, Benji recovered, Monte deals with ongoing legal issues, and Thad has stayed out of the spotlight. The shooter, whoever he was, continues to walk free, protected by the same street code that Triga himself once lived by. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.